So many beautiful faces that I haven't seen in a long time. Some of you who I just saw last night, welcome. Oh, I'm so happy to see you all. Mwah. Oh. Truly, so much of the yoga is just about coming together. It really is. So thank you for being here this morning. Okay, so welcome to Shape Your Chamber. Shape Your Chamber is a series that came to me last year, and it was just so powerful for me and many others that I decided to continue with it. We just meet once a month for 4 months, and we really explore the various shapes of the body and movements of the body, and really listen and feel how that in and of itself begins to open up the pathways to the other aspects of who and what we are. And that the body in and of itself is like this very sacred chamber that holds your inner royalty and also holds your inner secrets, and holds like maps to your history of your soul. And the body is truly a magical wonderland. So in Shape Your Chamber, we spend a lot of time just focusing on the body, and then just feeling how that creates little mystical doorways into other parts of yourself. So I'm just letting a few others in. Amazing. So for today, you'll need your mat. If you have blocks, amazing, use your blocks. I don't think we're necessarily going to need a strap at any point today. And then whatever you like for a cozy shavasana. So if you want to have your socks close and some kind of shawl or something to keep you really cozy, to seal the practice, as the sealing of the practice really helps integrate the teachings. Okay, so this week in Shape Your Chamber, we are exploring Vinyasa. Vinyasa being, one of my my first little doorway into yoga. And it is for many. I think Vinyasa as like a meditation and movement. Vinyasa, it has many meanings. It's like when you break that word down, Vinyasa means to connect, really to connect one moment to the next, so that there's a seamlessness. It also means, another translation of Vinyasa means to place carefully, or it means like special placement. And the way that I kind of read that is that each movement, each step, each moment is auspicious, and that we want to move from one moment to the next as if it is a sacred transition, as if each step is an auspicious flow. And really, so that's what Vinyasa is translated as this step-by-step skillful action. That has been another translation of Vinyasa. And it's when we move that way, and I'm not, in yoga, the teachings of yoga, they teach us, they highlight that how we hold ourselves on the mat, how we move in our bodies, is a perfect reflection of how we move off the mat. And with everything in your life, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, whether it's your engagement with nature. So, we can build capacities on the mat, it's like your playground of practice on the mat. Like today doesn't need to be a perfect expression of the poses. It doesn't. Just allow today to be this this building of skill that you can take off the mat. And the thing is you don't even need to think about what's happening off the mat. It just begins to organically manifest itself off the mat in the way that you you engage with your life. So Vinyasa, because one of the aim is to embody eloquence with Vinyasa. It's this this elegant transition from one moment to the next. So we need this mindfulness of one step to the next. It's almost like time begins to expand. Sometimes when you're in a Vinyasa practice and you're so immersed into the moment to moment seamlessness that you do lose track of time. So what they say about Vinyasa is it brings you to a different dimension where time is expanded. And in some different traditions or even traditions, it's like, yeah, that's how you expand time. Literally, time begins to expand itself when you can literally be with that moment to moment flow. And then the word Nyasa, it means to awaken divine energy. So if you begin to practice Vinyasa over an extended period of time, it does give you this prana, this shakti, this awakening that begins to unravel itself in many different parts of your layers. Okay, the one thing I want to highlight about Vinyasa, and for someone that teaches teachers, and I have taught all kinds of yoga, and I have to say I'm quite immersed into hatha right now. The one thing I'm going to say about Vinyasa is it is an advanced practice. Ideally, there's some integration in alignment. Unfortunately, over many years of Vinyasa kind of becoming mainstream, it's lost some of its some of the way that it was initially taught. And the way that it was initially taught, it was very closely monitored by your teacher. In fact, it was, an offshoot of Ashtanga, where Ashtanga was one-on-one kind of relationship. And, the teacher would be able to monitor, okay, so now I can see that you can maintain this. So now let's go to this shape. Now let's go to this flow. But I'm not doing that today. So ideally, the yoga, the asana, the Vinyasa is meeting you where you are today. And ideally, you have this listening, this relationship with your body where you can feel where something might be too much pressure. In particular, we don't want a lot of pressure on the shoulder joint. I'm going to attach a document, and then we'll also just send it in the, we will send it in a follow-up email with the link. And it's just a file on the anatomy of your shoulder girdle, for those of you that are interested in that. And the shoulder joint, I would say in Vinyasa, is probably one of the most vulnerable parts of the body. In fact, the shoulder joint in and of itself it's quite amazing that this arm is able to stay in its socket. You have the arm bone and it meets this very shallow joint socket, and a lot of holding it in place. It's quite amazing that that your arm is able to maintain its rhythms. But because of the structure of the tendons and the muscles and the joints, we are able to fly. I really want you to invite you to think your arms and your collarbones and your scapula as literally your wings. And I'm just gonna give you some alignment points for your shoulders right now. And at any point, if you start to feel any pain in your shoulders, I'm going to invite you to just take yourself down into child's pose and take a few breaths and to listen. So there's just going to be like 4 main alignment points in your shoulders. The first one is side bodies long. So really that the shoulders, you know, when we lift our arms up, it's not just the arms that are going up, your side bodies are also going up. So your rib cage really extends up, okay? So side bodies long. And the second alignment point is your shoulders. You want to keep them back, okay? So as they go back, we get the arm bones in the back of the socket. When your arm bones are in the back of the socket, you have a lot more mobility. So we can get a bigger range of motion. Your wings can expand much wider. You can fly much higher when your shoulders in the back part of the socket. When the shoulders come forward, we have less range of motion. So it limits your capacity to fly. Okay, and so then the next one is that we have these amazing little collarbones, and these you want to broaden. So they tend to sometimes cave in and become shallow. You want to broaden these, and as these broaden, your shoulder blades come more in towards each other, and the shoulder blades kind of hug onto the back of your thoracic spine. And not only are these alignment points, you know, integral to keep you safe in the vinyasa, but they also create a structure in your physical body so that your fascia can relax more. And then when your fascia relaxes, your prana flows much more freely. Because when your bones come out of alignment, the fascia reacts a little bit and it starts to contract a little bit. And then your prana can't flow as freely. Okay, so side body long, shoulders back, broaden the collarbones. And because yoga requires us to be elegant, on top of all of that, we need to learn how to relax. So then from there, you really want your skin and your outer body to soften. So those are just some reminders for you, okay? All right. Before we begin, are there any questions? Amazing. Okay, my friends, we're going to start in child's pose on the mat today. So please find your way to child's pose. Big toes touching, knees slightly open, arms by your side, forehead onto the mat. If it's difficult for you to place your pelvis on your heels and your forehead on the mat, then place a block underneath your forehead or a book or a pillow. Okay, child's pose. Mia, you're a little horsey, aren't you? You're a horsey. Okay, my friends, child's pose. So one of the true art of vinyasa is your breathing. So allow your attention to literally download, to immerse itself into your natural breath. So first let that connection be made. They say in yoga, when your attention can meet your breathing, that your soul feels like it's being seen, recognized. So just a few moments landing into your breath. Let your shoulders relax, let your belly open, and let your pelvic floor also relax and open. Good. Now with Vinyasa, we will be working with an Ujjayi breath. So let's work with our Ujjayi breath. Okay, it's a stretching of the inhale and exhale now. There's a very gentle, light contraction in the back bottom of your throat as you stretch your inhale and your exhale. You're beginning to deepen your breathing. And as you stretch your inhale and exhale, it's almost like you're turning on your internal music. You're hearing your breath, but it's not so loud that, you know, someone a few feet away can hear you. Maybe just someone right next to you. And for today, we will be stretching the breath for about a count of 3. So when you're ready, exhale the air all the way out of your lungs. Good. And then we inhale for 2, 3. Exhale for 2, 3. And just keep going on this pace for a few rounds on your own. This will be the pace of our movement today. Good. And as you deepen your breath here, just allow yourself to dedicate your practice, dedicating your practice to creating that connection with yourself, creating that dedication of generating a mindfulness off the mat. And if there's anyone that you'd like to dedicate your practice to today, I invite you to do so here now. Good. Good. And when you're ready, begin to slowly extend your arms all the way forward. Reach, reach, reach. Spread your fingertips incredibly wide. Good. And then slowly find your way up onto your hands and your knees. Once as you come up onto your hands and your knees, I invite you to spread your fingertips really wide. Point more of the index finger forward. Yeah? Good. And then when you're ready, lift your knees, and we're coming right into a downward dog. Okay? Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take your feet so they're a little wider than hip distance. And with your fingertips spread wide, lift like the underarms, almost like where your armpits are. Lift them up so your shoulders are to your back body. Good. And then elevate your sit bones way up to the sky behind you. Don't worry about your heels touching the ground today. And now just take a few moments to just let the head release, let your neck muscles relax. And begin to work with your Ujjayi breathing, this really deep, gorgeous connection with yourself. Drinking in that oxygen and that vitality. And as you exhale, just imagine you releasing any tension, any worry, and really just release everything. So you can release any expectations and release even any projects and deadlines and stress, and just really deepen the breath. Neck muscles relax. Press down through your beautiful, strong hands. 2 more cycles of breath. Gorgeous. And then come forward to plank pose, top of a push-up. Shoulders over wrist, heels over toes. You want to walk your toes back slightly, potentially, so your heels are right over the base of your toes. Good. Charge your thighs. Stretch your heart forward. At any point you need to drop your knees to the ground, feel free. Good. Take a full breath in. And then you come slightly forward, and we're going to lower for 5, 4, lower, press the earth away, 2, 1. Land onto your belly, untuck your toes, take your hands a bit wider, and come up for a high cobra. Press down through your feet, and we're just gonna work with a dancing cobra for a few cycles of breath. Swaying to the left and to the right. Letting your neck relax. Swaying. Keep your pelvis rooted. Good, and then lift up, full breath in, and then exhale, slowly lower. Plant your hands right next to your chest. And really, your thumbs ideally are right in line with like your nipple, okay? And then from there, spread your fingertips, tuck your toes, lift your thighs and knees, lift your shoulders. And on the next inhale, lift up to a low push-up, chaturanga. Okay, thighs are activated, scoop the tailbone, and then press down, inhale to plank, and then exhale back to downward dog. Good. Take a full breath in, and a cleansing breath out. Good. And then step to the top of the mat for an Uttanasana forward fold, okay? Feet are hip distance, all 10 fingertips to the mat or to your blocks, okay? Good. And then press your fingertips forward and fold into your legs. Deep breathing in and out of the heart center, relaxing your face. Good, and then interlace your hands behind the back, lift your shoulders, and on the next exhale, fold into your legs, arms up and over your head. Breathing into your body. Move the top of your thighs back. Let your shoulders fall towards the ears and fold in. Good. And then fingertips to the earth, bend your knees deeply, shoulders relax, chin to chest, and slowly unravel one vertebrae at a time. Good, and find yourself standing at the top of your mat into a Tadasana. Okay, big toes are touching. If your low back is feeling vulnerable today, you can have distance. Okay, otherwise, big toes touching. Okay, amazing. Exhale your air. Good, and on the next inhale, rise your arms up for 2, 3. Exhale the air, and we fold for 2, 3. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, forward, 3. Exhale the right foot back, then the left, and lower to low push-up or the earth. Good, inhale for upward dog or cobra for 2, 3. Exhale to downward dog, 2, 3. Good, 2 full breaths. Spread the fingertips, thighs back. Good, inhale onto your toes, gaze forward and hop between your hands. Okay, inhale the breath, exhale, fold. And then press down through your feet, inhale the arms all the way up, stretch up. And exhale the hands to the heart center. Good, and then release the hands. Again, inhale the arms up for 2, 3. Breathe out, exhale, fold in for 3. Inhale the chest forward, Ardha Uttanasana. This time step back with your left foot to plank pose and lower to Chaturanga Dandasana or the earth. Again, inhale up for cobra or upward dog. And exhale back to downward dog. 3 breaths. And keep your underarms lifted. Keep your head hanging. Good, inhale high into your toes, gaze forward, and exhale up between your hands or step. Okay, inhale Ardha Uttanasana, and exhale, fold into your legs. Big breath in, stretch to the sky. And as you breathe out, land the hands back into the heart. Take a cycle of breath here, really diving into what you feel. Good, and then release the hands. Draw your big toes to touch. Good, and we'll play with Surya Namaskar B, okay? On the next inhale, bend the knees and sink the hips. Chair pose. Good, and then as you exhale, straighten the legs and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Good, and on the exhale, you can plant the hands and hop to low push-up or step, okay? So hopping is floating all the way back, okay? Or step and lower, okay? Inhale up for upward dog. Breathe out to downward dog. Right foot comes forward. Pivot your back heel down. Inhale up for warrior one. Bend your front knee. And we're going to keep flowing. On the exhale, plant the hands, step it back, press the earth away, and lower to low push-up or the earth. Okay, inhale up for upward dog or cobra. Exhale to downward dog. Good, left foot comes forward. Pivot your back heel down. As you breathe in, rise all the way up, drinking in your breath. As you breathe out, plant the hands, step it back, and lower to low push-up or the earth. Okay, inhale for upward dog or cobra, and exhale to downward dog. Good, so 3 breaths in downward dog. And really here, this is the time to reconnect. This downward dog here, really just let the breath slow down. Let your neck relax. Exhale the air. Inhale on your toes. Bend knees, gaze forward, step or hop between your hands. When you land, inhale Ardha Uttanasana. As you breathe out, fold in. Big breath into chair pose, arms in line with your ears. And then exhale, straighten the legs and hands to the heart. Good, a cycle of breath here. Softening your front body. Beautiful. Release the hands. Again, breathe into chair pose. Good. Breathe out, fold into yourself. As you breathe in, heart opens forward. Exhale, step back or hop to low push-up. Breathe in for upward dog. Breathe out, downward dog. Right foot forward. Pivot your back heel down. Breathe in for warrior one. Elegantly reach up. Good. Breathe out as you lower down. Exhale the air. Inhale, open your heart. Breathe out, lift your hips, downward dog. Left foot forward. Pivot your back heel. Drink in your breath, stretching up to the sky. Stretch the exhale. Land the hands. Press the earth away as you lower to low push-up. Good. Inhale for your back bend. And then breathe out for downward dog. 3 full breaths. Allow your breath to slow down. Last cycle of breath here, pressing into your arms. Good. Inhale high into your toes. Gaze forward, step or hop between your hands. Big breath in, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in Uttanasana. Inhale, float your arms up, sit deep, chair pose. And then exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the heart. Couple cleansing cycles of breath. Good, and these first sun salutations, they are an opportunity to revere your light. Traditionally, they are about paying reverence to your light. Good. And then release the hands. Inhale the arms up as you stretch to the sky. Once again, exhale the air, we forward fold. Good, and this time, take your feet so they're a little wider than hip distance. Find your big toes with your first two fingers. Good, and then from here, stretch your chest forward, take your thighs back, full breath in. And then exhale, we're gonna tug up with the toes and fold into our legs. So the elbows float to the side. And as you pull up on the toes, press down through four corners of your feet. And the elbows, they move away from your legs as the chest comes in towards your legs. Deep breath into your beautiful bodies. And gently release. Good. Draw your big toes to touch as you squat down. Lift your heels and open up your knees wide. Okay? So here we are. Big toes are touching. Heels are lifted. Open up your knees. If you have a block handy and you're tight in the hips, you might benefit by stepping onto a block. Spread your fingertips wide. Point your index fingers forward. Lift your beautiful pelvis up and then hug your inner knees to your outer upper tricep. Okay? Claw the mat with your finger pads and lean your chest forward. That might be enough for you, or some of you can lift one foot off the block or earth. Some of you can lift both feet off the block. Spread your toes as your big toes touch. Some of you can straighten the arms for Bakasana. Hold for one more breath. You can lower and step to downward dog, or you can hop to low push-up, float up for your upward dog, and I'll meet everybody in your downward dog. Beautiful work. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take a big breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Press into the whole part of your hand. Inhale your right leg up. Gently place your right foot all the way forward. Pivot your back heel. Take your right hand on the inside of your ankle. Feel free to use a block if you need. And extend your left hand onto your hip. And then move your shoulders back and slide your left arm up and over your ear for Parsvakonasana. Open up your throat and lean back. Breathe into the heart center. Feel your feet. Press into your feet. Rise up for warrior two. And then straighten your right leg. And from your feet, drink up into your pelvis. So literally lift your thigh muscles up off of your knees. Open the wings. Full breath in. And then exhale. Shift your hips to the left and extend your right arm more to the right. And then release your right hand onto the shin, the block, or the earth. And extend your left arm up for Trikonasana. Draw your low ribs to your back body and stretch out beyond your fingertips. From your belly, press down and out through your feet. Take a full breath into your body. And float your left hand to your hip. Gaze your eyes down. Step by step, no rush. Okay, skillfully step. Your right hand comes forward. You can use a block if you need. Step your left foot halfway up the mat. And then when you're ready, lift your left leg for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Point your left toes to the side wall. That's it. Press down to your standing heel. And if you feel steady, lift your left arm all the way up to the sky. Breathe in and out of your bodies. Stretch out through your lifted fingertips. Take one more full breath into your heart. And then lower the left fingertips to the earth. Square your hip to the ground. Take your right hand to your right ankle for standing split. So you pull up on your right ankle and you fold your body into your standing leg. Lift your standing leg, your lifted leg higher. Pour into your leg. Last cycle of breath. And join your left foot to meet your right at the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen your heart forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Breathe out, big step back to downward dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take a full breath into your body. Cleansing breath out. Gracefully inhale your left leg up. Gently place your left foot forward. Pivot your back heel down. Other side. So left hand onto the inside of the ankle. Use a block if you need. Right hand onto your hip. Move your shoulders back and sweep your right arm over your ear. Good. Wrap the pinky finger of your hand down to the ground, the right arm, and turn your chest up to the sky. That's it. Last cycle of breath here. Press down to your feet and rise up for warrior two. Bend into your left knee. And then straighten your left leg. Open your palms to the sky. Feel your shoulder blades on the back as you breathe in. And then exhale, shift your hips to the back of your mat and extend your left arm out of your waist. And when you can't extend anymore, left hand onto your leg or onto a block or the earth, and extend your right arm all the way up. Open your throat. Feel the air beyond your fingertips. Breathe into your body. Good. Right hand to your hip. Gaze your eyes down. Keep your gaze really soft as you elegantly step your left hand forward, step your right foot forward, and lift your right leg when you're ready. No rush. Where you focus your eyes will play a big role with the balance. So find a point and just gaze your eyes. Point your lifted toes to the side wall. And when you're ready, you can lift your right arm. Let your breath keep moving in and out. If you feel steady enough, you can gaze to the side. You might even be able to gaze all the way up to the sky. Good. Take a full breath in. And exhale your right fingertips to the earth. Take your left hand to your left ankle. And you tug your left ankle up. Press your right fingertips down and fold into your left standing leg. You can open up your right hip And lift your right leg high. Spread your right toes. Take one more full breath in. And then breathe out. Both feet to the top of the mat. Fold in, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your heart forward, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, bow back in. And we'll step to a downward dog. Spread your fingertips wide. Move the top of your thighs back. And press into the ground. And very tenderly lift your right leg. Stack your right hip on top of the left and bend the knees, spread the toes. Underneath your left arm, you can see your right toes. And then stretch the legs straight and place your right foot all the way forward. Step your left foot up the mat and straighten both of your legs. Create a stance so both of your legs are straight and the hips are facing to the front of your mat to the best of your capacity. Find a block if you need it. Options are place the block on the inside of your right ankle or on the outside, which is more advanced. Okay? Good. And then from there, take your right hand to your hip. Move both thighs back. Stretch your heart to the front of your mat and turn your chest to the right and lift your right arm. Pravita Trikonasana. Press down and out through your feet, out through the crown of your head, out through your lifted fingertips. And then right hand to your hip. Gaze your eyes down. Use a block if you need, but we're going to step the left foot forward. Step your right hand forward. And now we're going to move into twisted Ardha Chandrasana. So your chest stretches forward and you lift the left leg. This might be a beautiful place to stay. Otherwise, twist your chest to the right and lift your right arm. Press down and out through your feet, out through the lifted fingertips. One more full breath in. And on the exhale, join your toes to touch. Inhale for chair pose. Breathe in. Exhale the hands to the heart center. Inhale the shoulders back. And then exhale, we're going to twist into chair. Take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Twisted chair. Sit deep. Good, and then press your hands together and sink your hips. Good, and then open up your wings. Extend your left arm down and your right arm up. Good, and then begin to lift your heels and lower the sit bones. And you can stay here today, breathing and twisting, or plant your hands down to the sides of your mat. Spread your fingertips wide. Breathe in and out of your body. Walk your hands a little bit more to your right. And then lean forward for Parshva-Bakasana. Hook your legs on the outside of the upper right arm. Lean your body weight forward. And so you can lift your feet up off the mat. Spread your toes, stack your ankles, stack your knees. Claw the mat. One more full breath in. And then exhale. Fold at the top of your mat. Feet hip distance. Bow in, Uttanasana. Soften the knees, soften your shoulders. These arm balances create big clearings in the heart. So just let the breath flow. Good, inhale the heart forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Big step back to downward dog. Spread your fingertips. On the next inhale, rise your left leg, stack your left hip on top of the right, and bend the knee. Open up the left knee, lift it up, and gaze underneath your right armpit and see your toes. Good, float back up to three-legged dog, and gently place your foot all the way forward. Step your right foot forward as well, and straighten both of your legs. So heel to heel alignment may be a little wobbly. So you might step your back foot a little more to the right so that you're a little bit closer to hip distance. Okay, then place your block or your hand wherever you feel the most stable. So you can take your right hand on the inside of the ankle or on the outside of the foot. Left hand to your hip. Charge both of your thighs. Twist your chest open to the left and rise your left arm to the sky. Make any adjustments you need so you feel stable. Open your throat, lean back. One more full breath into your bodies. Cleansing breath out. And then left hand comes to your hip. Gaze your eyes down. And we're going to step your back foot forward, step by step, no rush. Step your right hand forward, and you can always use a block. Lean your chest forward, open your throat, and then lift your right foot up off the ground. The right foot is flexed and pointing to the earth. Twist your chest to the left, and then lift your left arm. You can keep your hand on the hip if you need. One more full breath in, stretching in all directions. And on the exhale, join your feet to meet. And then on your next inhale, chair pose. Sink deep, arms in line with your ears. Hands to the heart. Shoulders back. This time, hook your right elbow outside of your left thigh. Hands come to prayer. Press your hands together to get length as you sit into your heels. Keep breathing in and out of your body, being really present for yourself. Release your right hand to the earth or to a block. Lift your left arm, lift your heels, and lower your sit bones to meet your heels. Lower your sit bones to meet your heels. Heels are lifted. So you can stay here twisting. If you'd like to play with the arm balance with us today, plant your fingertips down so they're spread wide. And you might walk both of your hands a little bit more to the left, but your hands are like downward dog hands. Keep your big toes touching and begin to lean your body weight forward. Spread your hands and then maybe the toes come up and ankles come up. Stack your ankles, stack your knees, lean your heart forward. One more full cycle of breath. And slowly lower your feet. Come to the top of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Take your feet so they're hip distance. Find opposite elbows. Let your shoulders relax towards your ears. These weight-bearing poses are big cleansers. So let your exhale really extend here. Last cycle of breath. Good, big step all the way back to downward dog. Big breath to downward dog. In your downward dog, don't worry about your heels touching, but we're gonna give a big stretch down through your arm bones. Take your thighs back. Let your head surrender. Give a big hug of your triceps, your outer upper arms towards each other. Good, and then lower your knees to the ground. Lower your forearms to the ground. You can draw your hands into prayer, or you can draw them into a fist. Wherever you start, take your knees to their hip distance, tuck your toes, and let your back body melt so the heart melts to the ground. The shoulders are right over your elbows, okay? And then from here, gaze between your knees and lift your knees off the earth. We're coming into dolphin pose. Lift your heels high, lift your ankles high, and walk your toes in toward your face so that your hips are moving more over the shoulder joint. It's very important that you keep pressing through your forearms, pressing down through your wrist joints, breathing in and out of the chest. And you can stay here, or to go deeper, you would lift your right leg up. Lift your left heel off the ground. And for those of you that want to go deeper and play with forearm balance, you can kick, and kicking up to your forearm balance. Draw your big toes to touch. For those of you that have your right leg lifted, switch your right down and lift your left leg up. Hold for another breath. And slowly lower, one foot at a time, and we come to child's pose, okay? Big toes touching, this time your knees together, child pose, forehead to the earth, arms by your side. And just give this an opportunity to really feel your inner chamber, okay? Feel your breath filling up your back body. And just attune to the inner messaging. What's your inner dialogue? Good. And then slowly rise up. Good. And then we're going to come more towards the top of your mat. Stay with me, you're doing amazing. You're going to draw your knees to touch, open up your ankles, and draw your sit bones between your ankle joints. Now, if that's too much on your knees, you elevate your pelvis, okay? You can sit your pelvis up onto blocks. You can also sit your pelvis up onto blankets. If any of you are nursing some major knee problems, then you can do just the opposite. You can draw your big toes to touch, sit on your heels, and open up your knees wide, okay? That's if you're nursing like maybe post-knee surgery. Otherwise, if possible, you wanna draw your knees to touch, ankles open, and you draw your sit bones between ankles, okay? Virasana. If you're in Virasana, ideally want your second toe kind of in line with the middle of your heel. If it's not really lining up like that, it's good to place a block underneath your pelvis, okay? Okay, wherever you are, lift your pelvis ever so slightly and just give a little scoop to the tailbone. And this is a beautiful place to stay, okay? Otherwise, for those of you that can go deeper, you walk your hands back, and some of you can come onto your forearms. Again, lift the pelvis, give a little scoop to the tailbone, and lower your pelvis down. Tack all 10 toes into the ground. Press out through your knees. And if you can go even further, you would come all the way onto your back. If that is pinching or feels too deep on your low back, please come up back onto your elbows, okay? We can take the hands to the low ribs for those of you on your back and really let the low ribs melt into your back body. Press out through your knees. And extend your arms up and over your head, finding opposite elbows. Take a moment to feel the ground, to feel the earth. Become aware of the openness above you. Yeah, and the stability of the ground, the vastness of the sky are both just a reflection of you. So from that remembrance, begin to plant the hands by your feet. Press down to come up onto your elbows first, and then you can plant your hands to lift your chest and slowly come forward. Amazing. And then we're going to plant the hands down. Step your left foot back, and you can lift the knee and just pulse the ankle and knee joint after that hold. And switch sides. Good. And then step to your downward dog, however you'd like to get there. Spread your beautiful hands wide. Relax the head as you drink in a cycle of breath. Good. And we'll float through a vinyasa. Inhale forward to plank pose. Exhale, press the earth away and lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to low push-up. Inhale for your upward dog or cobra. And breathe out to downward dog. Inhale forward to plank pose again. Press the earth away and lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Untuck your toes. Forehead onto the mat. Feet are hip distance. And interlace your hands behind the back. Exhale your air. Give a little scoop to your tailbone. And on the next inhale, rise up through your arms and your legs for Ardha Shalabhasana. Spread your toes and lift your thighs. Lift your wrists. Open your throat. Breathe into your body as you lift your arms and legs. And breathe out to lower down. You can find a cheek or place your forehead on the mat. Let the earth receive your bones. And switch cheeks. Come back to your forehead. And you can work with the same shape by interlacing your hands behind the back. Or to go deeper, bend your knees and reach for the tops of your feet. Draw your knees closer together. Hug your ankles. And on the next inhale, lift your knees and lift your thighs to lift your chest. Lift up through their feet to lift your torso. Keep kicking your feet up and back. Keep opening your throat. Keep the breath flowing in and out of the body. Lift your knees, open your throat, spread your toes. Take one more full breath in, lifting your thighs. And breathe out to lower the knees, lower the ankles, and find a cheek. Let your belly relax. And invite your breath to slow down. Good, and then switch cheeks. And then slowly come back to your forehead once again. And again, you can find your ankles Or interlace your hands behind the back for one more Dhanurasana. Or Shalabhasana, so you can pick. Draw the knees towards each other. And on the next inhale, lift your knees off the ground. Lift your feet up to the sky. Really feel your hamstrings and your glutes lift you. Kick your feet up and back. Keep the breath moving in and out of your nostrils. Last full cycle of breath. And slowly lower the knees. You can take one over the other and take your forehead onto the hands. Soften your belly and give a little wiggle to your pelvis. Just check in with that dedication, how you dedicated your practice to connect a little bit deeper to yourself. Good, so stay with me. Slowly roll onto your backs. Okay, come all the way onto your back. Hallelujah, yeah? Okay, my friends, so when you come onto your back, bend your knees. Take your feet so they're a little wider than hip distance and they're parallel. And walk your hands so that your index fingers can touch your heels. So you want your feet about that close, okay? Good. And then tuck one of your wings underneath your heart and then your other wing. So your shoulder blades are already creating a little bit of a back bend, so your heart is already lifting. Good. And allow the gaze to reflect upon the openness above you, okay? So ideally we're not turning the head left or right. And then press your skull down and lift the pelvis up off the earth. Again, tuck one shoulder under and then the next. And interlace your hands underneath you. That's it. Keep your throat opening. And the ankles, they give a little love hug towards each other. And it really draws power into your legs so that you can lift the pelvis higher. Keep your throat opening. The history of this pose is that the heart is the mountain and the mind is the pupil. And the pupil is trying to climb to the top of the mountain. So you really want your heart above the head. Last cycle of breath. Uninterlace the hands, lift your heels, and really take your sit bones towards the back of the knees as you lower one vertebrae at a time to the earth. Draw your knees to touch and take one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly and attune to the pulse of your breath and attune to the rhythm on the inside. You can stay with bridge pose, or you can set up for wheel pose with me today, okay? So I'll walk us through wheel, through Urdhva Dhanurasana, or you can move through bridge like we just did, okay? Spread your fingertips as you plant your fingertips to point towards your feet, underneath your shoulders. So the fingertips are slightly touching the shoulders underneath them. Spread your fingertips. Take your feet so they're parallel and wider than hip distance. Exhale the air all the way out of your lungs. On the next inhale, press through your hands and your feet and come up on top of your head. Take your hands wider. Point your index fingers actually more towards your heels. So the fingers are pointing out. And then take your shoulders way back And press down to lift up. Lift your heels for the first one. Walk your hands more underneath you, so towards your feet. And with your heels lifted, rock your chest over your heels for 3, 2, 1. Hold shoulders over wrists. And then your chin comes to your chest. Walk it out if you walked it in. And then slowly lower down, slowly lower down. Good. One hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, knees touch. Turn to your pulse. Be with your inner body. Good. Number 2, plant your hands. Spread your fingertips, feet wide, but toes pointing towards each other. I'm going to invite you to remember that you have a power inside of you that's stronger than anything your mind can ever imagine. Okay? So just remember that. Exhale your air. Press into your hands and feet. Come on top of your head. Walk your hands more towards your feet and wider. Draw your elbows towards your knees. Come more onto the top of your forehead. And now press down to come up. Again, some of you will lift your heels. Otherwise, if you can keep your heels down, keep them down. And walk your hands underneath you. Rotate the fingertips to be pointing more towards the outer part of your mat. So externally rotate your hands. And again, pulse the chest over your wrist joints for 3, 2, 1. Hold. Good. Lift your heels, chin to chest, and slowly come on down. Again, one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Let your knees embrace. Let your breath slow down. So Vinyasa is that moment-to-moment connection. So stay present for each moment. It's that step-by-step, artful eloquence. So step-by-step, feet are hip distance. Stay with me. Plant your fingertips underneath your shoulders. Tune to your breath. You can move through bridge pose if you're not working with wheel. Empty your lungs all the way. This time we're going to inhale all the way up. Come all the way up. Walk your hands more underneath you. Lift your heels. Again, see if you can get your fingertips to be a little more externally rotated outward. And pulse the chest over your wrists. And if you can get your feet down, plant your feet, hug your heels, and pulse the heart over your wrist joints. And then just pause. Pause in the seamlessness of your breath. Chin comes to chest. If you walked it in, walk it out. Slowly lower down. One hand to heart, one hand to belly. Take a full breath in. Exhale out the mouth. So your last one. Remember your strength. Plant your hands. Spread your fingertips. Feet wider than hip distance. That's the step-by-step, skillful action. Exhale your air. We'll come back on top of the head again. Inhale on top of the head. Rotate the hands so that they're a little bit externally rotated. Come a little more onto your forehead and move your shoulders back. And then press down to lift up. Walk your hands underneath you again. And pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold here, press into your arms, hug your ankles, relax your head. Last cycle of breath. Lift your heels, walk it out if you walked it in. Chin to chest. And you can come down from your wheel pose or bridge pose. And this time, extend your legs all the way out. Open up your arms, and we'll come into just a brief shavasana. Lift your pelvis so you have a little scoop of your tailbone. That pose, these back bends, they are big alchemizers. They really change the chemistry of your blood. So your role here is just to be still, but allow yourself to be immersed into the rhythm at the same time. That seamless moment-to-moment rhythm. Good. And very gently, if you haven't already, open your eyes. Okay. And we're going to bend the knees, plant the feet onto the ground. And then draw your knees together so they're over your hips. Lift your shins so they're parallel with the mat, and draw your big toes to touch. Draw your arms all the way out like a T, palms facing down. Take a full breath in, and then on you exhale, draw your knees all the way over to the right. Open up your left palm to the sky and turn your awareness over your left shoulder. And allow your left rib cage, your left belly, and your left shoulder to melt into the earth. Good, and then use your pelvic floor muscles and inhale your knees all the way back up center. Press your left palm to the earth again, and then exhale the knees over to the left. Your knees are stacked, ankles are stacked. I'm going to invite the knees to be in line with your pelvis. Yeah, and now open up your right palm and allow the energy to melt over to the right. Your right ear melts to the ground, your jawline, your shoulder, your belly. These twists are quite amazing for the organs, and they give a beautiful ringing, kind of ringing out the fascia after these deep practices, kind of cleansing out what needs to be cleansed. Good, and the pelvic floor muscles lift to inhale all the way back up. Lower your feet to the ground. Roll to whatever side is most comfortable. And we come on up to Dandasana, okay? So for Dandasana, extend your feet out in front of you. So I'm just gonna get my blanket. So for those of you that have a low back that's feeling tender, you might sit up onto a blanket or a pillow for your Dandasana. So for your Dandasana, we're going to start with your hands on the outside of your hips. And then from here, take your left hand to your left ankle and pull your left ankle back to be in line with your pubic bone. If you're nursing any knee injuries in your left knee, you could plant a block right underneath the knee. And then you can open up your right leg a little more to the right. Good. And then walk your right hand out to the right. Lift your left arm. Take a full breath in. And we're going to twist our torso over the left leg. Over your right leg, excuse me. And then reach with your left hand to the outside of your right foot. If you can't reach your foot, then reach for the shin or the ankle. Okay? Good. And then stretch your chest forward and fold in. Wrap your left rib cage more to the earth and pull the right belly back and fold in. Some of you can take both hands to the foot as you cross your wrist joints. Lift the elbows high and fold in. And then on the next inhale, gaze your heart forward and slowly walk your hands back. Beautiful. And then extend your leg forward. A little shake to the legs. And this time we reach for your right ankle and you help your right ankle back because you really want your right inner thigh to relax. Okay? Then you can take your hands to the outside of your hips, lift your hips and move your sit bones back. And then again, if you're nursing knee issues, you can take the knee to a block. Twist your torso over your left leg. Walk your left hand out to the left, lift your right arm up, and as you fold, reach for the outside of your left ankle or the outside of your left foot. Okay? Inhale, open your chest forward, and then breathe out to fold in. Each side is very different, a very different matrix. So just notice how this pathway feels different or similar to the other side. Keep your breath in Ujjayi, so the breath is still full. Wrap your right rib cage down and pull the left belly back. Some of you can find both hands to the foot, crossing the wrist joints. Lift your elbows and fold in. Good, and then the arms straighten, engage, lift your heart high, and then slowly walk your hands back. Extend your leg forward again for Dandasana. Give a little shake to the legs. Soften the knees, and we're going to move into Upavista. So open one leg to the side and then the next. The knees and the toes point up to the sky, okay? At any point, if your toes start to cave inward, it might mean that your legs are too wide or you're folding too far forward. Okay, so just watch the skill in action here with your knees and toes. Roll your feet to the ground, lift your chest high. Give a sweet little tug in with your heels. Stay really sweet in the face. Exhale your air. And that might be enough for some of you. Otherwise, begin to walk your hands forward. Again, so the heels gently draw in towards the pelvis. Your pubic bone rolls down. And some of you can walk your hands forward and out. Lift your underarms so that the shoulders go up to the sky, so that your head can just hang and relax. Softening the jaw and the tongue. And some of you can walk it even more forward. And some of you can anchor your forearms onto the ground. And some of you can draw your forehead onto the ground or even onto a block. Stay with your Ujjayi breath. These forward folds are a mechanism to fold inward. So your energetic body begins to go to your depth, like that mystical, deep inside. To your inner chamber. And then gaze your eyes forward, coming up onto the hands, and slow and steady, begin to walk your hands back. And we're going to soften the knees, and then help one leg in, and you can help the next. Good. And then give some little shakes to your legs. Bravo, my friends. We're going to move into a Shavasana, okay? So Shavasana is this real powerful shape, and not to underestimate the gift of it, okay? So let your feet fall open a little bit wider than hip distance. And I invite you to lift your pelvis so that your tailbone scoops, and then you can come all the way onto forearms when you're ready. But you can get yourself all cozy, covering yourself up with blankets. You can shift the lights in your room if you'd like. Or call on your husbands to take your kids. That's it. If you have anything to cover up your eyes, you can cover up your eyes. The placement of your bones, it plays a very big role in the prana of your body. So allow your feet to really relax and fall open. And ideally, they're just a little bit wider than your hips. And allow the back of your pelvis to lengthen. So, a little scoop of the tailbone is beautiful for the low back. And the low back is known to be this very powerful doorway for prana. It's shifting from the pelvis to the spine. And then really let your wings rest after all their work. And let them rest by holding the back of your heart. So you tuck one shoulder blade under and then the next. Allow your palms to float open to the sky. Allow the jaw and the tongue to be effortless. And allow your eyes to sink to the back of your skull. And allow the bones of your body to fully release into the earth so that the earth can hold you. We worked many different centers of the body, and by connecting to those centers of the body, little doorways open so that you can experience something beyond the physical. So really just let yourself get out of the way and let the auspiciousness take you. As your physical body remains heavy, can you attune to the inner matrix, your own personal star constellation? Notice how it rises here. Your constellation of light and your personal pathway. rises up into the heart here. And just deepen the life force into the heart, increasing the weight of your breath. And just deepen the breath into the heart center for about 3 cycles of breathing. And before you move, I just invite you to remember that your little personal constellation of stars and planets will continue to guide you. And so when you're ready, begin to bring your awareness to your hands and your feet. These very important joints. These joints are the joints that walk you on your path and help you reach for what you're reaching for. So just become aware of them. In fact, so much of the Vinyasa is about being aware of your hands and your feet so that you walk and reach for the right things. And when you're ready, you can begin to bend the knees and place the feet onto the earth and really feel the earth with your feet. And then roll to whatever side is most comfortable and just pause on your side. Allow your belly to open. Allow your heart to roll a little more towards the earth as well as your face. And just pause in this pose that reflects a threshold between night and day, the threshold between waking and sleeping. The threshold between the material world and the mystical world. So just pause here in this threshold for about 2 more breaths. Good. Take your time. I will meet you in a tall seat with your eyes closed when you're ready. Please keep yourself cozy. I'm going to invite you to elevate your pelvis slightly, if possible, sitting onto a block. And we're just going to move into just a few rounds of Nadi Shodhana, just to balance the hemispheres on the inside. Okay? So with your right hand, place the first 2 fingers into the palm of your hand. Take your right thumb to the right nostril, your right ring finger to the left nostril, and place them more towards the top of the nose where the cartilage is, okay? And we're just gonna close the nostrils about 90%, so there's always a little bit of air moving through. So this is a very gentle, soft breathing. It's not forceful. Eyes are closed. Exhale the air all the way out of your lungs. And then closing the right nostril, we're going to inhale through the left. At the top of your inhale, close the left, exhale through the right. At the bottom of your exhale, no rush, inhale through the right. Inhale all the way up to the top. And then close the right, empty through the left. Keep your throat open and inhale through the left when you're ready. At the top of your inhale, close the left, empty through the right. Let your shoulders relax. And just keep going on your own. Be very present for the seamlessness of moment to moment. Be awake for the inhale. Be present for the journey of the exhale and the pauses in between. And the next time you exhale out your left nostril, empty the lungs all the way through the left nostril. And you can slowly release your left hand back to your legs. And slowly find a comfortable position, allowing your breath to move into its natural, organic rhythm. And place your hands in any mudra or position that feels tender, comfortable for you. And just be present for your inner body for a few moments. And stay still for a moment as you glide your awareness to your breastbone, like the sternum bone. And feel your sternum bone with your attention. And literally notice if you can feel the frequency of it. It's a strong frequency, that bone. and then attune to the presence behind that bone. Good, and then we'll fold the hands to the center of the heart, Anjali Mudra, hands in prayer. A little bow of your brain to your heart, just to honor your inner light. Good. And I'll have us kind of seal the experience with the recognition of your light, which is in Sanskrit is going to be translated as Shreem. Shreem. So we'll just seal our time together with one really soft, tender Shreem. Okay, eyes gaze inward as you open your throat. Exhale your air. We'll inhale for one Shreem. Namaste, my friends. Thank you for all your strength. Thank you for your breath. And thank you for showing up today to give yourself this care of vitality. So I wish all of you a beautiful weekend with family and friends. You can feel free to unmute yourself. And thank you for being here with me. You just made my weekend.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Oh, you did amazing.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
See you soon.
I'll see you soon. So for those of you that don't know, Shaker Chamber is 4 series. So if you'd like to sign up for the others, feel free. And also there's Sacred Verse, which starts next weekend, is another series. Okay, it's a philosophy and meditation series. So you can read about that on the website.
Thank you, my friend. We love you.
Thank
you.
Bye.
And all you beautiful children who joined us today, Lucy, your beautiful family.
Bye, Suzanne.
Mia, you come over soon, okay? Sneak into Ty's car. Just jump in his trunk. Okay. Lots of love to all of you. So good to see you.
Bye.
Bye. I'm so glad Minnie made it.
Bye.
Bye.
You want to close, my love?
Yes.
You can do the red buttons.
Have fun on the
Yes.
drums. Raphael,
Yeah?
how is your
No, wait.
Yeah.
turn off this recording?
Good.